When Lusitania first entered service in September 1907, she was the largest, most luxurious, and fastest ocean liner in the world. Her maiden voyage and the return of the Blue Riband to the British mercantile fleet after 10 years in German hands was a matter of enormous excitement. The ship made headlines on both sides of the Atlantic. Her fame also elicited a number of new original songs which were composed about the new liner and her adventures on the Atlantic. In 2023, HFX Studios released a digital album of ocean liner-related music entitled Liners of the Golden Era, a Musical Tribute, Volume 1. My wife Tessa and I had worked for months behind the scenes to transcribe vintage and often very rare pieces of liner-related sheet music from the late 19th century and up through about 1912, and then to record them on a variety of pianos which had come through our shop for repair or restoration. The results were an absolutely fantastic collection of recordings of incredibly rare music, much of which, to our knowledge, had never been recorded and released to the public. One of the pieces that we came across, recorded, and released on that album in 2023 was a rare song named Lusitania Waltzes. Unlike the majority of Lusitania-related music that we found and recorded, this piece had not been composed in 1907, but rather in 1910, between 2 and 3 years after the ship had first entered service, and at a point when her younger sister Mauretania had already taken the Blue Riband, and much larger ships like White Star's r.m.s. Olympic were already under construction. One of the sad things that we began to realize as we transcribed much of the sheet music for our album was that many of the composers of the music we were working on had all too often vanished into obscurity, and very little information was available to us on who they were. We know that this song was composed by Edwin Goffe, and what little we could find was that he seemed to have been based in Providence, Rhode Island, in the United States, and that he and his brother published many of his compositions. Beyond that, little was known about their history or could be unearthed up to the time of the album's release. Our friends at the White Star Line Quintet volunteered to record this rare piece for us as a duet with piano and violin. This adds flavor to a piano solo performance, and it was timed to coincide with the release of our own latest work, Lusitania, an Illustrated Biography, Volume 2. We were very pleased to accept the offer, as the quintet's musicians are trained professionals who work in prestigious orchestras and musical ensembles in Austria. We were very eager to share the results of their work on this song with our viewers here on the Steam and Splendor Network. If you would like to stream the original album, Liners of the Golden Era, you can do so on any of the major streaming services including YouTube, and you can compare and enjoy the artistic variations in the two performances. Without further ado, please enjoy this duet performance of Lusitania Waltzes by Patrick Cornelius Vita and Jessalyn Wang of the White Star Line Quintet. A special thank you to our supporters on Patreon, including NikkiChan92, Dean McIntosh, Evan Fleming, Lucas Sidlowski, Bluebird Nut, Martin Cahill, Sam Forker, Mark Gegenheimer, Maximilian Metcalf, Rachel Warner Sanchez, and Snow Monkey.